Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming again today, you're very, very welcome as we continue through this Life Reflections through Music series. So I trust you're all well. Well, last time we looked at the Dream Academy and their song Life in a Northern Town. What a great opportunity to reminisce. And I chance you had a chance to reminisce about your childhood as well. Well, we're going from there to 1935 in Los Angeles. This guy is massive. 72 million album sales. 28 in the top Billboard Top 200. 5 went to number 1. 14 platinum, 15 gold albums. This guy predominantly did not sing, but he did have one single where he sang that went to number 1, and he's also had an instrumental that has gone to number 1. The guy we're talking about is Herb Alpert. Now, Herb was born into a family of musicians. You know, there were all sorts of music happening around in his house. So it wasn't going to be long before he would start to play as well, picking up the trumpet of all things. He was a pretty good gymnast in high school, and he was part of a gymnastics team, really good on the rings. But due to some injury, he got kind of sidelined at a critical time. He thought, well, I'll just pursue music. But that was put on hold for a little while because of the Korean War. And so he went to the Korean War for a couple of years, and he played in the 6th Army Band while he was over there. But when he returned, he was involved in a bit of songwriting, and it was in 1960 he got signed to RCA Records. Now, Herb was desperately wanting to find his own sound. He really, really was, and he just wasn't. He didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. He wanted to come up with his own thing, and it's when he went to Tijuana in Mexico that he went to a bullfight, and he heard the roar of the crowd, the call of the trumpet. He just got really, really inspired by that, and he thought he'd form together and get that kind of feel going with his music. And it was around that time that he inspired and formed Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Now, there's some absolute classic songs in these guys' repertoire. In fact, 1962, out came The Lonely Bulls. One of his first songs was recorded. We got an official version of that one below. 1965, we had an album. Get this title, Whipped Cream and Other Delights. This song went to number 1, outselling the Beatles, Rolling Stones, and Frank Sinatra. There we go, a guy that was not singing at all. And one of his classics, of course, we all know what his tunes are, but we just don't know what they're called. So, A Taste of Honey. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, that one. So you'll get a bit of an idea. Really quirky. Make no mistake, Herb Alpert is a very good trumpet player. You know, to be able to do that sort of melody on a trumpet's pretty hard. Trumpets only have 3 valves, so you've got to do a lot of these instruments and sounds with your mouth. And so Herb Alpert just had this beautiful style about him. So A Taste of Honey, studio version of that one. Out in 1968. Are we up to 1968? Yeah, I think we are. As you know, before we get to 1968, out in 1966, because this guy was on a bit of a crest of a wave, he did release a short animated movie. And that movie actually got an Academy Award, so there we go. There was a couple of songs released off this movie. Herb Alpert classics, Spanish Flea and Tijuana Taxi. We've got studio versions of both of those. But got a bit of ahead of myself, because in 1968 he came with this song. He sung it, and one of the rare vocal performances by Herb Alpert. You see, this guy's in love with you. We've got both of the official clip. This is what you did back in the 1960s. Don't forget, you know, we had those 5 years of pretty sort of where anything goes kind of lifestyle, and we've got a studio version as well. This guy's in love with you. This concept of in love. I want to look at this today a little bit. You know, love, as I've said many times, is the most potent force in nature, in the universe. One day we're not in love, and the next day we are. But I want to look at this concept of in a little bit more. Now, what is love? What a great question that one is. Of course, Foreigner came out and said didn't know what it was, but he wanted that person to show him. There have been many, many songs about love, you know, the starting of love, the breaking up of love, the last longevity of love. Or love is patient and kind, never gives up, never keeps a record of wrong, all that sort of stuff. And I think the concept of in love really implies that, you know, I don't think we can have one person in love and the other person not being in love. I think in love implies that both people are feeling it at the same time. You know, we say, I love you at the start, don't we? And we're kind of putting it out there. And we're thinking, oh, well, I actually really think this person's lovely. And I just, you know, she's really captured, she's captured my heart. And I really want to be around them all the time. I love you. It just seems to be the words that you say there. Oh, by the way, if you hear the words "I love you" from somebody else, you know, the automatic response is, "Hey, I love you too." No. What the person has just said, particularly if they've said it for the first time, is something quite significant and huge. I think what we need to do is we've got to kind of just pause for a second. And if you do actually feel that way too, just sort of smile, do something that makes them understand what they've had is just significant. Give a bit of a pause to it. Just say something, hey, look, wow, what a beautiful thing for you to say. And then come back a little bit later with, hey, you know what? I love you too. But we need to acknowledge these three words, don't we? Because they are very, really special when you hear them. And you just don't want to say, oh, I love you too. No. We've got to give space to those three words to, first of all, if you heard them for the first time, we've got to let them seep into us. We've got to let them take hold of us because someone has actually just revealed their heart to you. And, you know, you've got to give it due weight and due consideration, but just to really, really feel it. And then after a little bit of time, you say, wow. Hey, you know what? I love you as well. And there's just a bit of a deepening at that point about acknowledging these three words, particularly when they're said for the first time. So I think when both people are feeling that kind of real contentment, happiness, all the stuff that love can bring, when both people are feeling that and both people have kind of shared that a few times, I think the in love thing kind of then happens. Because you can't have one person in love and the other one not. Because in love implies both people are there. And I think we've got to be really careful with these words, I'm in love with you. If there is that kind of understanding of love, absolutely. But if one person is in love and the other one isn't, well, it's not in love at all, because in love implies we're both in it. I know I'm getting a bit pedantic here, but, you know, when it comes to relationships and romance and all the rest of it, every word counts, I think. So to say that you're in love with someone, like to really, really be in love with somebody and they're in love with you in this beautiful thing called love, which is patient and kind, we can really truly say then we're in love. It's not kind of one person in and then the other person isn't. In love as everybody is in it. And so I think it's great to see this guy's in love with you. Absolutely. If the girl is in love as well, absolutely fine. I know I've been pedantic here, but, you know, in love is just one of these things when we're both there. This guy's in love with you, number one for Herb Alpert. We've got an official clip and studio version of that one. And then at 1979, he was still going at this point. He had a number one instrumental with the song Rise. Now, you notice, obviously, 1970s, we've got a bit of a feel happening here, bit of disco, bit of whatever. It's a really, really live version of him playing Rise. Went to number one. Pretty cool. Some 11 years after his first one, so pretty good. Herb Alpert, he's just a bit of a legend, really. He's won a Tony Award. He's won 8 Grammy Awards. He's received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, not bad for someone who just plays trumpet. National Media of Arts, Medal of Arts, I should say. Between 1962 and 2023, there's been 45 releases. Just get your head around that. As I said before, he sold 72 million albums. 28 have got in the top Billboard Top 200. 5 have got to number 1. There's been 14 platinum and 15 gold albums. 72 million album sales. Not bad for someone who can't play, can't sing. And you know, when you do actually capture a bit of, you get a bit of a feeling, a bit of a vibe about where you're going as a musician, and you do as much output this guy has. You know, he's deserved the success and the accolades this guy has received. That's a very, very amazing effort for someone who hasn't really sung. But it was nice to see that when he did sing, he got number 1. You know, This Guy in Love With You is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. So I had to put that one in there. So the links to those 7 clips are in the description below. Yes, 7. And I also included my last video from the Dream Academy. So if you want to recap on them, feel free. Well, if this is your first time to Life Reflections through Music, where we go through every conceivable genre and artist we can think of, or you're here for the first time, great to see everybody here. That's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to Ian Jury. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.